Hi.
Hard Lessons Learned, Part 3. Please forgive but take note of our guest's appearance and behavior. It should be noted that this is being filmed while he is in full psychosis due to medication non-compliance. The MAGA Nazi Klan uprising proved to be destabilizing, and without proper meds our hero crumbled, and here he is in free fall. Several days after firing his therapist, and with intensive case managers in hot pursuit, within 24 hours of this filmed presentation he will be rehospitalized and remedicated. But the dreaded hospital saw an opportunity to settle old scores, and would attempt to institutionalize him, upending his home life and causing untold devastation to his partner and their cats. Let this be a lesson, kids. Don't let racism wear you down. And no matter how bad it gets, stay in treatment and take your meds. Now sit back and enjoy the meltdown.
So, hi. You can come closer if you feel like it. I know you're going to be scared at first, There's a guy with half the skin on, but there's nothing to be afraid of, So, let me start with. I guess I'll start with a song. Ooh, I'm out of tune. Excuse me. It's a good way to start, right? The Grateful Dead charged for this. That one was for Jerry Garcia.
If you want me to.
Say something. Yes, I would like you to say something.
Okay, so while we're getting into
And it's intimate, actually. Can you guys hear us? Because we have the mics, but I don't think we'll need them, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So go ahead.
So while Issa's getting into, and
That
I thought
sounds just like your voice. Listen to that.
Wow.
Listen, did you hear that? While this is getting into. Go ahead, Greg.
I wish I could do that. So I just want to give you a little bit of background. I'm really honored that Issa asked me to come up and NYU Psychiatry residency program. He was at Creedmoor in the Living Museum at that point, and all of my friends who were involved with arts therapy were talking about him and talking about the immense power of his art, his visual art. And then I got the chance not only to tour the Living Museum and see Issa's work, but to hear him perform. I think it was in Lower Manhattan with his band, the DSM-5. Okay, so you're already getting the gist here, that Issa is a true artist, not only in his immense technical skill, both in music and in visual art and in speaking and writing, but also in the sense that he's able to get a lot of people to feel things and go places where they wouldn't ordinarily, using his art forms, and to turn memories and scenes that could be incredibly painful into laughter at times, and at other times into a connection with self that allows us to go somewhere with it. So I'm a big admirer of Issa as an artist, as a person, as somebody who I know is on a real path to spiritual and personal growth. And on that note, the way that I thought to frame the presentation today, knowing that this is part of a diversity series, am I right? And I really give Lenox Hill and all of you for taking on diversity as an important topic. Diversity implies, I think it's kind of it's a gentle term. It's something that implies that we look at a lot of divisions and power inequalities by race, class, gender, people with a psychiatric diagnosis versus people who don't have a psychiatric diagnosis. To get past the us-them, I think requires us bringing ourselves into the picture. Very quick question or poll. How many of us in this room have had some form of training or practice in an interpretive, self-reflective form of psychotherapy? Anyone here? Okay, broadly defined. It's a type of psychotherapy that asks you to examine yourself and interpret your reactions, more or less. Okay, so you're familiar with the idea that a good psychotherapy is something that requires going to painful places and sitting with pain and tolerating it. And the idea is that eventually going there, sitting with it, understanding it, will allow you to transform yourself, and it will allow you to stop doing the things that keep you in a painful place, because painful places are often, they feel safe because they're familiar, right? And so going back and understanding the pain allows you to venture out from that familiar place and go to a place that's less painful for yourself and for other people. So the reason I set it up like this is that I think one of Issa's great gifts to us, he's going to tell you more of his own story. I won't even attempt to tell Issa's story, but it's an incredible story. But one thing he has to offer us, especially in light of diversity and breaking down us-them divisions, is helping us to go to painful places, inviting us to go to painful places and transform. So I myself had to, one thing that I liked about psychiatry, and especially psychotherapy, is that it invited me to look at myself. And that was, of course, the very hardest thing. It put me in touch with some memories that I had from my own family. I'm lucky enough not to have a serious psychiatric diagnosis in my record, although I've had many struggles. But 3 of my uncles have had very serious psychiatric diagnoses, went in and out of hospitalization, and they died from some combination of prescribed or non-prescribed psychotropic drug use. And it was only in the course of my self-reflection that I was able to really think about that and remember them coming and going from the household where I grew up. But I think that we as psychiatrists have to look the same way at psychiatry and the work that we do, and the role that psychiatry, the way that it's now structured and practiced in clinics and hospitals, may be at times reinforcing social hierarchies, inequalities, us-them divisions that do a lot of damage, and that in order to work against that, we have to go towards those painful insights and begin to work on them and change them. So with no further ado, Issa.
Thank you.
Welcome to the rest of your life. Time for you to close the door on everything you knew before. It was a hell of a fight. Welcome back, but don't forget the worst hasn't happened yet. You expected to make a living. You expected to keep on giving. And try to survive. The rest of your life. Everyone's got something
Well, I guess I'll just talk about that song, I guess, a little bit. I do a lot of songs like that, actually. I kind of like talking in the second person or the third person, you know. And sometimes I feel like when I sing songs in that voice, it's my mother, you know. I realized it for years, but then like somewhere along, I don't know, somewhere along the line, I realized that she's coming to me. She's coming to me and helping me write these songs. She said, "Welcome to the rest of your life, kid." Now, and that's kind of like, okay, it's been bad, but you got to keep moving. And so, and also the title actually came from a friend of mine at the hospital, at the Living Museum, because they were aware that I was like fighting to get out for years, you know. And you know, they always gave me a lot of encouragement. And one day I just showed up, and this guy, one of the guys was kind of in and out. And he says, "Oh, how you doing with your case?" I said, "Oh, I got out." I said, "Really? Wow, I never thought you'd get out." And everybody seems to say that, and even Gio. I never thought you'd get out. But he said that, and yeah, I did. He said, "Oh, well, great. Welcome to the rest of your life." So I wrote that down. Went back to my room. So anyways, so where are we going? I'm uncomfortable.
You want to tell a little bit of your story? Not everybody knows it.
Nobody knows. Wow, that's a good thing.
Not everybody.
I can say anything. I'm the president. No. Oh, could you help me with that, maybe? Because how do you? Actually, you know what? What helps me with that is singing. So I'll just sing it, and then we'll go from there. I think Jerry Garcia's in the room. There he is. Jerry. Let him out. Thank you, Jerry.
By the way, I want to mention that Issa has a number of videos out that you can watch on YouTube and many other places.
Yeah,
with
for free.
the DSM-5.
For free.
And solo.
For
I
free.
highly recommend
You know, there are acts out there that won't let you listen to their stuff on YouTube. What's that all about?
Prince was one of them. He went through and deleted all of his videos
Did he?
from YouTube.
I guess he had a lot of time.
He hired somebody.
No, he probably did it himself. He's a control freak.
Yeah, that's
He probably
true.
did it himself. Where is it? Where is it? We know where he is now. All right.
I never thought I'd fall this far. See me twisting in the abyss. My life is passing before my eyes.
That explained a lot, but also didn't say much, which is how it happens with me, and which I'm still trying to figure out. I'm struggling to figure out. You know, it's therapy. It's music therapy and art therapy. When I was in Creedmoor, I was an artist. Okay, we're going to tell the story. I was born into an artist household. My father was a jazz musician, and my mother was an artist, and a music collector, a music lover. I mean, our record collection was amazing. Was insane. I mean, we had lacquers and acetates. I mean, she was like deep. And I later developed that. I'm a geek. I'm a music geek because my mother, because her shit was like in boxes, the stuff that was tucked away in the vault that you could never look at, that you never talk about. Then there was stuff that you could kind of leaf through. Then there was stuff that we all played. Then the kids had their records. She was serious, and she married a jazz musician. So there was always music in the house. I kind of get the feeling I heard my dad played the upright bass, you know. And I remember as a little kid seeing him pull it out, because by the time I came along, jazz had changed, you know. Did anybody see La La? You guys saw La La Land. Come on, help me out. Did you see La La Land? Show of hands, La La Land. Okay, everybody, right? Everybody. And if you didn't see it, you're gonna see it. But I mean, jazz was like an amazing thing, and but it changed somewhere along the way. LSD in the '60s corrupted it. LSD in the '60s corrupted it, and it went acid jazz. And the guys like my dad, who were traditionalists, like those guys, were like, "What the fuck is this? I gotta get high. I gotta get more high to play. I'm already high, you know. I gotta get fucking crazy to play." So my dad copped out of that, and ended up working like doing weddings, funerals, and whoever paid the bills, you know. After a while, but yeah, I came from a very musical and artistic household, so it's in my veins. So I communicate with music. It's easier than it is to talk. So, but. Coming from that house, it was a beautiful thing. It was a wonderful experience. Come from a bohemian, artsy, in the '60s. If anybody was there, anybody there from the '60s? It was beautiful.
Yeah, some of us were there.
It was just, you know. I was a little kid. I felt it. And. I often say, we need the baby boomers, you know? We need those guys from back then who were there, because I remember the feeling, but I was too young, so I don't remember all the words. I don't remember all the words, you know? But I remember the feeling. I felt the feeling. And that's what I'm communicating. I'm communicating the feeling, but I don't remember the words. So, where do we go from here? Let's travel. This is how I usually say for the end of the show. So heaven knows where we go from here. Is this too?
And are we gonna?
I don't know, Lauren.
It's
We're flying by the seat of our pants, ladies and gentlemen. Flying by the seat of our pants.
We were going to.
Imagine what you will. Don't let me plant any thoughts in your head. Imagine what you will. We're going to the nearest faraway place. Did you ever wonder if you were trapped in a concrete jungle without a map, waiting for your chance? You can escape to the nearest faraway place. It may seem like something that's hard to do. Run away to heaven, just me and you. We're free to do so. We love the taste of the nearest faraway
started, there will be no broken-hearted people walking around with their heads undone, bringing tears and frowns home to everyone. There will be no shame and no disgrace. And here is far away. Let's have a drunken sing song, everybody! Come on, Gio, come on! I'll call you. Others will stay behind. They've lost their minds. But we're just getting started. There will be no broken-hearted people walking around with their heads undone, bringing tears and frowns home. There will be no shame, no disgrace. Far away, far away.
Lisa,
Yes,
since you started off talking about the arts in your own home,
yes.
I wonder
It should be in everybody's. Anybody have kids? Play with your kids. Get on the floor, get some paper, water paste, and then nothing else, make them sick. And play with them. Just move it around, move it around, move it around, move it. And then after you're done, move it around some more. Move it around, move it around, move it around, move it around, move it. Get them, get messy, both get naked if you can manage. If you can get the husband out of the way. Send him away. He's got his man cave anyway. Fuck him. Just get down there with your kid, get naked, move it around, 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 move it around. Get high, move it around, move it around, move it around, move it around. And love that fucking kid. Let him feel your heart and feel his heart. Make that connection with him or her. That's what my mom did. That's
I
what
wonder
my
if you
mom
could talk about the Living Museum, because the thing that's so amazing about the Living Museum is the way that the arts in the Living Museum can be so transformative, even for people who haven't grown up with the arts, who weren't raised with it.
I saw that. I saw that.
Can
Yeah.
you say a little bit about that and the difference it made for your life path? To have at a state mental hospital a major art space?
All right.
And colleagues who were also doing art alongside you, with you?
Well, the Living Museum is like a mixed blessing. I always saw it like that. God did what he did. God put me on a path. And he puts things in people's way. Not much as me. It's everybody. Everybody's got a hand. Everybody deals a hand. Well, we come up to the table several times. And we come up to the table, and he's just like, okay, what you got? And you play your hand. And if you get a bad hand, just, okay, come back. And so, I mean, the hand I was dealt with as far as Creedmoor and what happened is what it was. I mean, it's terrible at times. But then I had to live in a museum. I had a place as an artist. And not just the kind of, I grew up, Jesus Christ. So I'm running to the museum, it was like going home. And it was crazy. And so I was a mixed blessing. I was locked up possibly for the rest of my life. Possibly for the rest of my life. Possibly.
He's working on it.
Okay, they're gonna hear this.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was amazing to have that. Kind of like in this bubble city, you had an oasis. That was the Living Museum. And in this bubble city, occasionally you had people walking around running for your life. Running for your life. People trying to take bites at it. People trying to take bites at it. You know? Patients, because they're all hungry. They're all hungry. So I mean, the minute you walk in, they've been cannibalized by people around. Hey, how you doing? Jesus Christ, get off of me. You know? And then the staff are all fucked up. So everybody's cannibalizing each other. It's a fucking ordre de fate. That's how I felt. I felt like Candide, you know? I felt like Candide. And you're just like going through this thing, and then you end up at the ordre de fate. People eating each other. Jesus Christ. And they're trying to survive. I finally found Dr. Pangloss, you know? But Jesus Christ. So, I'll segue into another song.
Never believe all the things that I see. The people in town all carry a frown inside of their empty wallets, looking for change. It's always in vain, but you really can't blame them. Inside the bubble city, the workers, it seems, all bury your dreams and trample whatever remains under their feet. The bosses believe they do a good deed while pondering the going rate of their soul. Everything's out of control. It looks very tranquil. Inside the bubble city. Everywhere you go, there's someone to see. Everything you do, you don't want to be. Inside the bubble city. Faces are drawn, the mood is forlorn, and heaven forbid that you speak. I live with a terrible will. Never believe all the things that I see. That happened to me. I'll probably die here. Inside the bubble city.
Bubble City, the Living Museum, or what was it? Tell us a little bit about
Imagine
the
it.
song.
This is the globe. Imagine. That's why we have it here. That's quiet next to the camera. This is Creedmoor. And this is the Living Museum. It's an oasis, with water, where things grow. They grew things there. There were two ambitious Europeans, Bullet Brzezinski and Dr. Janusz Martin, who seeded something amazing. They took a lot of ideas from Europe and Prinzhorn and Navratil and and Gugging and all that stuff that was going on and is now whatever it is, and brought it to America in the 80s. They were really on the forefront of that and planted it in Manhattan, New York, and started doing Manhattan shows and let people know it's here, And then they got the building, got the space, and it's growing. It's going out of control. And that's why Creedmoor hates it. Because a program like that can't exist in the Psych Center. And it won't. So I'm trying to help get it out of there. I've been trying to get some of the artists decent representation. Because Creedmoor is just going to kill it. They're just going to kill it. They have a black film. So, anyway, that's the Living Museum.
Can I ask another question about the arts? Because you were reminding something, when you start off talking about the 60s and the feeling of the 60s.
Do you?
What it was like.
I shouldn't ask. I'm sorry. Let's ask her.
I was there for 1 year.
Oh, what is that? 1969?
Right.
Oh, 1969.
Yeah. That was my best year.
That was it.
But what I've heard about the 60s, of course, it was a period of a lot of upheaval.
Well, yeah, sure. Just like now.
Unrest.
Just like now. We're
Right.
experiencing it again, and we're getting
Yes.
a second chance. We're getting a second chance, and hopefully we don't blow it this time.
It's really interesting because I was thinking about how much music and the arts played a role in the civil rights movement.
Mhm.
The fact that my uncles were all involved in that.
Were they musicians?
2 out of 3 of them were musicians.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, trumpet and guitar. And I'm just thinking about the arts and
They played
the
trumpet.
civil rights movement. Yeah. And I was also thinking about John Coltrane's Alabama,
I remember.
which was written for the children that were killed in a church bombing.
Oh, okay.
And then I realized, I'd heard that song recently when there were other church bombings in this country just in the past few months. So music and the civil rights movement, and in particular, if you think about jazz, the black experience in America.
Well,
So I wonder if you wanted to talk
Well,
a
there was
little bit about
Motown
that.
too. It's not about jazz. I grew up with. I was in the room when my dad was playing his upright bass with my mother while she's on the floor smoking naked, and then I came out and she's playing, rolling the shit. She never changed. She was always on the floor naked. Oh, in a good way. Thank you, sorry. She was a bohemian. She was an artist. An artist with a house. Her father, my grandfather, he bought her a house. And maybe as a consolation, there's a whole family drama. But he was an alcoholic, my grandfather, Arthur Phipps. Great name, Arthur Phipps. Very English, very Jamaican. And addicted to the drink. And his wife, Mildred Dunbar, my grandmother, wasn't having it. Because he just had a baby with her, my mother, and she's like, "Get your shit together, motherfucker." And he couldn't get his shit together. So, and then I'll tell you, in the 40s, people didn't do that. You have to understand, people do that now all the time, actually. Snore and you're kicked out. But back then, people and black people didn't do that. So he must have been a really fucking alcoholic motherfucker, or something must have been dissonant or wrong with that. But either way, so when she, of course, coming from a broken home, runs to the first man that reminds her of her father, who's an alcoholic, and she gets married and has kids, and before she knows, she's 18 with 2 kids, or 19. What the fuck? How'd that happen? And her father, my grandfather, saw that maybe she was a little wayward, and then she was hanging out at the jazz clubs, So of course, him being more principled from an older generation Jamaican, was looking at that like, what the hell is going on? Like, what's going on? And then this is the 50s too, so there was also a cultural change coming out of World War II, you know, that he was noticing happening to his daughter. And so he said, look, they put her in a house in the Queens, in the suburbs, and get her out of the clubs, you know. And then my father would say, oh, you got a house? Great. I'm going to move in. You know. That's how that happened. But yeah, where was I going with that?
I was asking about music.
Music, yeah, there was always music. And so my father was a jazz musician, and he came up from Florida, like the migration in some form or another. Everybody migrated up because it was so fucking bad down there. And he had good times down there. Because Florida wasn't as bad, if anybody knows. And it's still not that bad as the rest of the South. For some, it's not the South, actually, if anybody knows Florida. Florida's not the South. Trust me. So, he didn't want to leave, but he had to leave. So, yeah, but when he came up here, he fell in with the whole jazz thing and the black Muslim thing that was happening in the city, and then which Malcolm later brought into the suburbs. And he had a mosque in East Elmhurst that he used to hang out at. My dad knew Malcolm X. He never told my mom. He never boasted about it. He never even told me. I don't think he never told me. My mother told me. My mother told me. But he was so disillusioned and hurt and broken when. Not when he died, but when he was betrayed by Elijah Muhammad. I don't know if you know the whole story. Look it up. Do your homework. But in the Black Muslim movement, it was so fucking strong. It was a diamond, and that shit was gonna fucking pierce a hole in America. Until they started digging up shit and finding out that the guy running the movement was a philanderer. He had women and kids. I mean, this nigga was like all over the fucking place. And running shit. But he's a pimp. He's a pimp, you know? And Malcolm believed in him so much. Malcolm just believed in him so much. And the people who were followers of Malcolm's aesthetic and Malcolm's thing believed him and, you know, just bought into it too. And so when Malcolm was, you know, it's like a sympathetic resonance. So when Malcolm fell away, there were people who fell away with him. And my dad just, fuck it. That's why I don't know Arabic. And my dad learned to read and write and speak Arabic. He's a motherfucker. And he taught a couple of my brothers a little bit. I didn't take. By the time I came along, he tried. I was resistant. And I just said, okay, whatever. It didn't matter, it seemed like, I guess. So I can't speak Arabic. I can barely write my name in Arabic. I feel a little naked right now. It's all comedy, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yes, could you please save him? Yeah. Thank you, dear. Keep him quiet. Keep him quiet.
So I know just from other conversations we've had that you are using your music, your story, and yourself as part of a movement.
Well, yeah, the movement happened.
And it has to do with psychiatry, mental health. It has to do with a lot of divisions too, racial, ethnic, gender. And I wonder if you could talk.
Well, that's just indicative of the times. There's so many divisions now, so it's just going to be reflective in what principles and practices come up. Mm-hmm. Before you just have to worry about black and white. Now you got to worry about trans, this, and Jesus. Yeah. Can we just treat each other like human beings? Get well. Do we have to worry about what's between our legs in terms of what's going on in our head? I mean, for Christ's sake, what's that all about? I don't know. I'm trying. I have a good friend, a young girl, who's 24, 25. and she's very they, them, theirs, I don't know about the pronouns, all that stuff. She's even introduced me to people who are crazy pronouns. I'm still working on they, them, theirs. They're in Mars somewhere. Okay, whatever. So, I mean, I'm trying my best. Because, I mean, I just stepped out of a time machine, ladies and gentlemen. I just stepped out of a time machine. So, I don't know what the fuck is going on. So, I'm trying.
But I know that
Well, can we just...
you're using art for a purpose.
Well, are we? Well,
I mean, yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if people are.
no, you're right. There are a lot
Not
of people-
everyone who
there are a lot of
does
people who don't. Yeah,
is
right.
at least as conscious of that as I know you are, and I wondered if you wanted to talk about that, about the purpose of art, because you play for a lot of people, you do visual art for a lot of people, you write
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
I'm also a painter. Right, Mom?
Yeah. And you would have seen some of the art here, so just imagine it. But you're also on the web, right? For those who want to see your art.
IssaIbrahim.com. I have.
What is it?
IssaIbrahim.com.
Issa Ibrahim.
ISSA. Yeah, I'll be in the back. The merchandise, too. I have books and CDs. IssaIbrahim.com. There you'll get the whole experience, the paintings. I'm really a painter who likes to play music. I'm not a musician. If you listen, I'm not. You can tell I'm not a musician, man. I'm a weekend guy. Yeah, I'm a weekend guy. I can't play, but I love to play. I love to play. I mean, when I was in the hospital, and they confiscated my artwork to pour over for pathology. Because things were so off the chain in that place that I got into crazy trouble. My family had abandoned me, and I was in a mental hospital, possibly. For the rest of my life. You'll hear that again. So, I mean, and they're using my gifts against me. The only thing I have, the only thing my mother gave me, and they come into my room and take the paintings off my wall, actually selecting them. Oh yeah. You know, like, oh, this will really play well with them upstairs. Oh, this is great. Oh boy, they're gonna love this. Oh yeah. And when this comes up, you'll see what I'm talking about. Because it's raw stuff. But raw stuff in the hands of a fucking maniac, who wants to hurt you, or at least justify you getting into sexual relationships with older women who are grooming you to be their sex partner when they come to work. And then you get caught, and they get to throw you under the bus and get a package deal. Okay, shut up, get out, go away. And you get thrown under the bus, and all of a sudden you're left there as a predator, as a fucking sex maniac. They find a good way. Please have a nice day. They find a good way to just fix it, man. Just fix it. So. But after they took my artwork and kept it, I don't know where they kept it. I didn't care, really. I didn't care. But one of the good things is the nurse who gave me this guitar. We got restricted. I mean, separated, and so she just called and said. What can I do? I was so scared, and so I was like, please don't call me. And she said, I'll send you something. He sent me a guitar in the mail. So, I mean, there was a caveat to it, please play some beautiful music for me over the phone when you get here. Okay, sure. And I did, because she asked, but, so this, B.B. King and guitar players have, they named their guitars after women. Usually the woman who get them the guitar, or who influenced them in some way or another. But for a while, this guitar was a guitar that could not speak its name. You know? I dare not speak. You know? I dare not name the guitar because, you know, from a forbidden woman or kept woman, you know, from some craziness that she's going through, that she's bringing to work and dragging me into, and I get fucked up, and she's, oh boy. So anyways, I decided to rename this guitar that would not have a name, would not speak its name. I gave it the name Audrey, which is my mother's name. So this guitar is Audrey. But I got it from a nurse who was nice to me, very nice. I mean, it was an exchange, it was a sexual exchange, but I wanted to think she was nice to me. You know? So after a while, it was just like rotting on the vine, you know. And so that's when I wrote this song. This is when I knew it was over, but you know.
Kissing with your lips shut tight. Something here is not quite right, but I never had a clue that I had become your substitute. Holding hands with fingers crossed, never knowing all was lost, but now it's beyond a doubt, and I'm looking for a safe way out. In another place and time, I wouldn't be your fool. In another place and time, I wouldn't be so true. Looks like we're through. But now I'm sure you gave your love to the one before, and now I'm just a guess who's come to realize there's nothing left. So I have to console myself while you're pining for someone else, 'cause you can face the truth. Can't see that I'm your substitute. Another place and time, wouldn't be your fool. Another place and time, wouldn't be so cool. Looks like another place and time, I wouldn't be your fool. Place and time, wouldn't be so good. Looks like we're through. Looks like we're through. Looks like
So I wanted to ask you, Issa, if you could leave us with, what do you want psychiatrists, people who are working in mental health, to take away from your art, your music, your painting, your book,
The movie.
the movie?
They're gonna make a movie out with that. He left. My agent's working very hard. Because they're all animals in Hollywood, man. They're animals, animals. Self-devouring. Those motherfuckers are crazy. They're all coked up and fucking eating each other and raping each other. Jesus Christ. They're doing snuff films, people. I don't want to get into it. Anyways, Adam was a good man, an honest man. He's got his problems, as we all do. But he's an honest man. I appreciate that. I need that. And he's trying to get them a movie made of this craziness. good luck.
Based on your book?
Yeah. The hospital always wins. It's in the back. The hospital always wins. Which I realize is thaw, T-H-A-W. Yeah, so, because when I was working on it, that was the file I created, just with all the thousands and billions and cajillions of notes. And, so I just made the file, and I said, oh, thaw. And it's kind of like, oh! Which was nice. But, yeah, so I had him thinking of film. Oh, he was gonna make it. It's really his film because in making of the book, you have to compromise. Hollywood is self-devouring. Publishing is self-devouring. The music business is self-devouring. What else? Music business is self-devouring. They're all fucking insane.
Visual art world, really.
Visual artwork. Yeah. I'm not even in it.
Yeah.
I'm not even in it. I don't want to be in it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I don't want to be there. They're all crazy. Any place that tells you when you walk in to show your work, oh, and they don't give you attitude. They give you attitude when you walk in to show them their work. What? Wait, what? No, we don't take unsolicited. Oh no, you don't understand. Go away. Okay. So fuck them. Anyway. What do I leave you with? What do you want psychiatrists to come away with? Burn down the hospitals, really, seriously, man, turn them into housing. We need housing. And especially after Trump does his number on New York. He's shutting us down, people. It's going to be martial law. Just wait. Anyways, because he lives here, so he's going to make some kind of crazy excuse. Look, it has to be shut down because I'm the president and I live here. So, understand. And people are going to buy it because they're buying everything. Because he's got us all brainwashed. But you don't know that, do you? Really.
Housing.
Don't burn them down. Don't want to burn them down. You don't want to burn them down. Some need to be just torn down, like Creed. But renovate and make housing. Turn these big gigantic buildings like that monstrosity on Randall's Island, Manhattan State. That's like Creedmoor times 10. How many people are dying in there? Think about that. Right now, I need a song. But really, get these people out of there. Get them housing. Treat them like human beings, and save your soul.
What about art studios?
Oh yeah, of course. Well, you have an art program.
That goes without saying.
Art, music, the human arts. I should have brought that handout. The human arts, art, music, laughter. Laugh, please, laugh. That's the only thing that saved me in that place. That's the only thing. Making pictures, Lauren. Next time. We'll take you on tour. We'll break them in. We'll take you on tour with us. But the other thing, I just make it paint.
They could come to the Living Museum, couldn't they?
Look, I'm not going. You can go there if you want.
Do you have any permanent installations?
Yeah,
I highly recommend that you go. I got to go as a second-year resident, and it was just mind-blowing. I feel so fortunate. The reason I know you, Issa, is that there is an art program at Bellevue.
Yeah.
By sheer accident. I keep trying to get the history of the art program at Bellevue, but they've turned the addictions clinic into studio space. And there's a garden outside where a lot of what goes on is art, sculpture, and it makes a huge difference.
I've been there. Yeah.
I'm so fortunate to see that.
We've known each other for a very long time peripherally, actually. Yeah. In that I was doing outreach at Bellevue. Like I put out CDs. I have CDs like on a real press, like real. You'll see it. It's nice. They spent money on it. We got a grant from Creedmoor when I just got out of the hospital. Almost like a consolation prize, Oh, you got out? Okay. What do you want? And I was involved with the band. I said, well, I'd like to make a record. I'd love to make a record. But I didn't tell them because I didn't think I'd get anything because they've been shitting on me for years. I applied for a grant because I asked them if I could get a grant. Oh, you want a grant? You're a mental patient. Okay. I applied for the grant and got it, and then that burned their biscuits, because then everybody's asking for me to go upstate and shows. They have to go with me, and they have to come out of the budget to send 2 people, like a Hannibal Lecter, up to an art gallery. It was out of their control, and it's all about control. It's all about control. Where was I?
Art space.
Art space, yeah. The museum. Come if you like. It's my studio space. It's an exhibition space. I don't do any work there anymore. I hadn't done work there in years. Because there was a period where I just my mother came to me. She comes to me, she was a witch, by the way, for all you witches out there. Don't tell the men. But she was she was serious. She was no fucking joke. And she came back to me. After a while, and I started doing more work, and the work changed, which we'll see, not today, but on IssaIbrahim.com. And the work changed and evolved, and the more present she came, the more the work kind of revealed itself to me. And the songs were revealing themselves to me, to the point where eventually she was like fully present, but just not physically, if you can imagine that. If you can imagine that. And she's here now. But if you can imagine that, try to imagine it. Someone who's there, but they're just not there. They're there. And that's when I started working harder and seeing more of myself in my work and understanding myself more. And it was through God's good grace and my mother. And I'm blessed beyond belief to have gotten out of that place. Because it's not bad, it's a haunted place. And haunted places can be bad. Because they're unsettled souls, angry souls, miserable souls, all mixing up, and that's gonna collide. That's gonna create chaos. It's gonna create chaos. So of course, and then they're gonna start feeding on you, and it's like, oh please, no, and then people coming to work with their problems and fucking you because it's convenient, and someone else is fucking you because it's convenient. You get sucked into craziness because what else is there? You could there were a lot of guys who weren't getting sucked into the craziness who just kind of turned off, and just neglected their hygiene and just turned off. But if you have your wits about you and want to survive, you start like strategizing, and you start looking at the doorway. You start looking which door is open, which door is closed, because you want to get the fuck out of it. Even though I was there at Cleveland Psychiatric. Possibly. I got out, and by God's good grace, and my mother. I prayed to my mother so much, so that she had to hear me, she had to hear me. Anyways, I'll sing a song since we're ending. 2 o'clock, we're ready. All right, enjoy your pizza, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna sing a song written by a guy some many years ago. I think he may have been like 17 years old in his front bedroom, on a sunny day, a sunny day where the sun's streaming in through the windows. And he's a 17-year-old kid, and he's a dreamer. He believes. He believes in the power of song. He was touched by something. He believes in the power of song. And it works for him. Yeah, it works for him well. That 17-year-old boy, when he wasn't writing with this angry guy who kind of toughened him up a little bit, you know, by embarrassing him because he was sensitive, so he toughened him up by taking him in public and embarrassing him. Yeah. And he took it because he liked him as his friend, but you know that dynamic you have with friends, the dynamic that friends have. There's one that's the alpha, there's one that plays back. This is dynamic. And that was their dynamic, and you know, he helped them write great songs, but there was a power dynamic, and he dominated. But this sensitive little 17-year-old kid wrote this song, and it's a killer. Paul McCartney. Please lock me away and don't allow the day here inside where I hide with my loneliness. I don't care what they say, I want to stay in a world without love. Birds sing out of tune, and rain clouds hide the moon. It's okay, here I'll stay with my loneliness. I don't care what they say, I want to stay in a world without love. So I wait, and in a while I will see my true love song. She will come, I need not wait. When she does, I'll know. So baby, lock me away and don't allow the day here inside where I am with my loneliness. I don't care what they say, I want to stay in the world without love. I don't care what they say, I want to stay in a world without love. I don't care what they say, I want to stay in a world without love.
Thank you, Issa.
Can't believe we got through that.
So I guess we're out of
Thank you
time.
so much, Yale. We will, if you're okay with it, figure out a way to get your art circulated to everybody.
Yeah, send something. A group wise, you guys have that? Group wise, like we're all connected to an internet server, like you're all connected to something in here, right? There's a general thing, right?
Complicated, yes, but
I know every hospital's got it, and they all have a different system.
we'll figure out something.
They're all fucked up, man. Anyway, yeah, IssaIbrahim.com. And also there's a YouTube channel, a lot of videos. I make them all the time. You know, I got nothing else to do. I'm on SSI. But anyway.
And go to the Living Museum.
If you can, while it's still in.
I think all psychiatrists need to go,
Yeah.
just to open your mind as to what
The possibilities.
the possibilities are. Yeah.
Dr. Denkin, you're ready to feel a trip plan?
Actually, if we stay in touch, I'll show up that day. I kind of like to go, because it's like going back it's like going back to your crypt, you know?
Yeah.
And seeing all the shit you left there. But if we coordinate, I'll come for the I'll give you the tour. That's what I used to do.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you the
Yeah.
tour.
Absolutely.
You should take him up on that.
We'll do it. Thank you, Beth.
Thanks again.
Yeah, we have stuff. We have merch. We have merch.
In the back, we have merch in the back.
I will guard your guitar
Oh, yeah.
if you want to go
Yeah, thanks.
talk.
We'll talk.
That was really sad.